and Black Twitter said it was the Thodacy, right? And that compared Asia to Homer, like to our earliest like epic poem. And so I was like, I want to meet it like it's Homer or Toni Morrison or Stephen King even, you know? And Janicza was like, absolutely. This is like, this
I was like, this is Chekhov, this is Ibsen.
Yes.
Like, this is Shakespeare.
Yeah.
So Asia, when did you know that this was becoming more than just a fun Twitter feed you felt like sharing with the world?
As I was tweeting it. Yeah. As I was tweeting it, it was kind of, the engagement was like something I can't really even explain. It was, yeah, it was instant.
And Janicza, you talked about it at the premiere, but just in terms of knowing that this story existed and knowing that it could be a movie, you know, having time to sit with it, how did it sort of evolve in your head from, you know, it's a great concept to something that you could bring your own kind of vision to?
If you've read the Twitter story, it's incredibly visual and potent, and it, to me, seemed to be, I almost felt like we could have shot it without a script in a way, because it was such a great, the outline is there. There is a very clear beginning, middle, and end. It is a solid 3-act structure. So for me, all I had to do was make sure that her voice would translate and be the loudest piece in the film, and that not losing that. There was a bit, I would say maybe the fear, the anxiety would be that we would somehow lose the magic of what she had penned.
And Jeremy, same question for you from a writing standpoint. You're very active on Twitter, so what was your feeling of taking that, you know,
That's
medium?
a gentle way of putting it.
Active, lively, voicey? I don't know.
I'm very voicey on Twitter.
Pointed and strong. Nice.
CC at. No, but I think, you know, one of the things that was really fun about working with Janicza is that we met it in the same way. You know, I think that something that's really interesting about what Asia tweeted was that everyone who read that Twitter thread had their own movie that they made in their head. And it could have been very easy that I would have met someone who wanted to do this movie and wanted to have me co-write it with them, who was like, oh, that's not the movie is this. But Janicza and I both said that we wanted to meet this in the same way that Black Twitter did. And Black Twitter said it was the Thodacy, right? And that compared Asia to Homer, like to our earliest like epic poem. And so I was like, I want to meet it like it's Homer or Toni Morrison or Stephen King even, you know? And Janicza was like, absolutely. This is like, this
I was like, this is Chekhov, this is Ibsen.
Yes.
Like, this is Shakespeare.
Yeah.
We went to theater school, we know
Exactly.
what this is, let's do it.
And it became really alive and fun. And again, one of the things that we both wanted to recognize was that the complications of our scripts, the dips and highs and lows, and even the complex denouement, we wanted to keep all of that energy inside of it because it was a Black woman processing her trauma, and we wanted to meet that like Jamaica Kincaid, you know, and not like it was just some random Twitter like.
It wasn't throwaway.
Yeah, it was not throwaway.
It had deep value to us, and I knew from the instant I read it, I felt that it had to be me because I knew that I was the best person to protect the narrative and to protect her character, and to make sure that at the end of the day, no matter what happens to Taylor, to Asia, that when it's done, their voice and their character is cared for, and that they were given a fair shot. Because I think there is a version of this movie where that woman is not given a fair shot.
Taylor, when you had the opportunity to take on this character, how soon did you feel like you needed to meet the inspiration for the role and develop?
Right away.
Yeah.
As soon as I had a call back, I started consulting and reaching out to Asia as much as I possibly could. We were in direct contact. She's like, I felt the bet. She wrote, "You're so mean, it hurts," and I literally won't take no for an answer at this point. And
Yeah, there was no other option. After I heard the name Taylor, and I was like, yep, done, thanks, finished, wrap it up. Why are we still auditioning?
there was just a soul thing there.
Yeah.
We us three did a past life together. We said that. But yeah, very spiritual. You had dreams? She had like a dream about me. It's just like all and then I remember I had a call back, and I actually like sent her a picture. I had like did my eyebrows, got a wig, like, and remember that?
I do.
And I was like, what do you think, sis? She was like, period.
Period,
Like,
boo.
just wanted to make sure I honor.
And Riley, what about you? Because obviously the character you're playing is not exactly on board, to put it mildly.
What was the question?
Well, the question is, I mean, since there was a kind of a
Bear with me.
She has pneumonia. No, really.
well, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it just how much did you feel the need to kind of understand who this person really was, given that you couldn't just sort of hang out with her as easily as these two could.
That is challenging. I don't know anything about her other than what Janicza and Jeremy have researched. I mean, which is kind of a lot. But they had written such a strong character, and it was on the page, and so there wasn't that much I had to do, and I felt like I really understood who she was because they're great writers. And then also talking to Janicza about her, what she wanted to do with the character, and just trying to deliver that as best I could.
And what about you, Coleman? I mean, how much of this guy did you get to know? Did you get to meet the guy?
No, I didn't
He's
get to
in
meet
jail.
the guy. Yeah.
You can call him. I mean,
He's in prison, but I did go through wanted to research, sex trafficking, pimp culture, you name it. And so I did a lot of research in that way. So I can also just find the psychology of it and why people do what they do. And also to make him a fully rounded human being who has needs and wants and dreams like everybody else. And that stuff can be precarious, but I just wanted to find the soul of somebody. And with this, and he's kind of large and has size, and he is absolutely a villain, one of the villains in this experience. But I think you still want to just make sure he's human in some way. So, and for me not to judge him, for me to find something to actually love about him,
and for you, Nick?
Derek, I understood when I read him. I made an audition tape and sent it off to Janicza and didn't hear for about a month whether anybody liked it. And I thought it was really good. I loved working on the audition. I found him to be a heartbreaking character. And I don't know, I felt like this relationship he's in is eating him alive. And so I wanted to lose a lot of weight, and maybe it's funny, but I
You were on a pretty strict diet.
I was on a strict diet.
so much
I was
weight.
not eating a lot, so I was really moody. I felt bad because
You were moody at the top of the days, yeah.
yeah. And then at the end of the days,
Coming in hot, and then you were
and then I would
And then we got Chick-fil-A.
then I would binge really hard with Coleman
then
or
you
eat
get
some
sick.
Chick-fil-A.
like the
And I get
trashiest
sick.
food.
Yeah.
They all were like, we're never eating Chick-fil-A again.
But
Until
no,
the next time you ate it, and I was like, you guys are all
day.
disgusting.
I just felt like he was diseased with this relationship, and so I wanted, and so
That's a big word.
yeah,
You guys, he almost killed himself.
yeah. He
What movie?
tried to.
And someone tell,
They read the tweets.
It's in his
Yeah.
Exactly.
but literally someone tells them to do it and
know.
you guys laugh, that is disease. I'm with you on
It's
that.
disease. Like, it's a real disease. So yeah,
The
he
best
was.
is Sophie, who's not here, who actually improv that line, do it. And exactly, that's the genius of Sophie. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I have to ask you about this because it's having seen Succession and watching what you're doing here. It's really interesting to see you do something kind of different, but also your comedic instincts are very consistent. And I'm curious about how long that show is going to be a part of your life. Do you have a sense of how long it's going to kind of keep going and what you'll be doing there?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. But I was glad to play somebody else. I play that guy as much as they'll have me, and then it was great to play this guy who's very different. And I loved working on. He's plagued in a really deep way, so it was a good experience to switch it up and not wear suits every day.
Right.
One of the fun things about working on Derek's character is that I think that Janicza and I both, a lot of people in the room with us around the script, like, we really wanted to make sure that, like, in our relationship, in our lens on the character, that, like, an actor would still want to play him, Mm-hmm. And I think that was like an anxiety that they had, and that was an anxiety that Janicza and I constantly were like, once we are working inside of this world, there's no way that we won't give him a fair shot. Because for us, I mean, I think that what was really exciting about working on both this character and this character is that we both have been in PWIs for a lot of our life, primarily white institutions. And so we know what it's like to get like wrapped up in some friendship with a white person who's maybe not the best person, but you've at some point seen them as a human until they stop seeing you, or whether they ever saw you or not. And I think that it was really fun to look at the human relationships that both these people had, especially Derek, because he's like a fickle character. But even the way AJ shaped him inside of the story was so nuanced and so particular. Where like she makes him this archetype for the entire time, and then there's one tweet where she's like, he told me he had bipolar disorder. I felt bad for him.
That's how he shaped himself. I didn't think that. I just observed. I said that's how he shaped himself.
But you had this empathy, you know, and it made it really easy to lean into that, especially for the car scene.
Yeah. I love that car scene.